Sign, seal, real original.
Hey, what's up, guys? Michael Sutton with the Real Original Podcast. I'm with my friend Liam Eriksson, the co-founder and the visionary behind the brand Guy Fawkes. Guy Fawkes makes products like colognes, candles, and they just want you to smell good. Liam, thank you for being here.
Our goal is to be the most relatable fragrance company in the world. So, like, how do we do that? And I like how our fragrances could elicit, like, you at a beautiful sunset with your best friends, like maybe drinking a beer, like smelling good and just enjoying life and enjoying Southern California through and through. So that's good. I'm glad you felt that way.
I think one of the questions that kind of sticks out in my mind is, what got you inspired to start a cologne company in the first place? Because it doesn't really seem like someone might have an idea like, oh, I'm going to make a fragrance, but you actually went out and did it and built a company around it. So, like, what's the story behind it?
The story goes is I was a senior in college and I was a broke college student, and I worked at a nice hotel. And that hotel, like, I wore a suit every day to work, and I wore cologne. But, like, people always ask me if I'm a chemist, or if they ask me, like, am I like super into fragrances, or was? And the answer was definitely not, like, definitely not a chemist. And then in fragrances, like, I had like 1 or 2 bottles maybe that like my ex-girlfriend bought me or something. But like, I wasn't like a fragrance aficionado. I know you are, shout out. And now I am in present time, but little Liam at 21 at Sonoma State, shout out. I just liked fragrances on me. I felt more confident wearing it. And I worked at a hotel, like I said. So like, I kind of had to be a little older than I was kind of at the time. And I knew girls liked it, right? So I was like, hey, I like compliments and I like feel more comfortable and confident. And the story goes is I ran out of fragrance and I walked into Macy's, because in 2014, that's what you would do. And I remember that whole experience was crazy, right? You get sprayed a ton of times by a pushy saleswoman. And I walked out of there with like a $130 bottle I couldn't even pronounce, right? And I remember walking back to my car. It was a 1993 Integra. And I was like, damn, that whole process sucked, And I would consider myself a pretty good buyer comparatively to like my other guys that like roll out of bed and like put a shirt on and they're out to class. And I was like, wow, if that experience sucked for me at that exact moment at Macy's, then this experience probably sucks for Michael, for Kevin, for any of my friends out there. And I actually walked back in to Macy's and I returned it. Because I was like, dude, you can't afford this. In college, I always say like $10 was one meal. So that was like 13 meals. I was like, why did I? No, I was like, you don't need this right now. And I remember driving home and I was like, wow, like that idea. And I was a business major at the time. And that idea stuck with me. So, like, have you seen the movie Inception?
I actually haven't seen it, but I know.
Oh my God.
It's one of those that like started it with someone, I got distracted.
So it's my favorite movie all time. And
I've heard it's great.
It's in my top 3, let's say that. And, one of the quotes,
like a dream within a dream.
I'm gonna butcher the quote, but the most dangerous thing in the world is an idea. Right? It's like the most dangerous thing in the world is an idea, and that idea could be good or bad. And that idea just stuck in my head. So that was in 2014. Let's fast forward to 2018. I was finally able to start the business itself to what it is now known today. And so now we're one of the fastest growing men's fragrance brands in the entire country. And it took a lot, and I'm sure this conversation will go into that, but that's like the inception story, right? Why did you start it and how did you start it? There's one story in Bali that changed my life forever. It was my first mushroom trip, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and
we don't condone drugs.
We don't condone drugs.
Podcast,
no.
But
no, I mean, and I don't even mind talking about it. Like, I don't think I've ever talked about it.
It's California, publicly. Man. I feel like,
I don't think my parents know. Like, when they listen to this podcast, but like, regardless, like, I got nothing to hide. It was a transformative experience, and I don't know what it was, the universe or God or whoever you want to call it. And I remember being there on this beautiful beach, and it was phytoplankton season, and I was with such a good group of people that I just met in Bali, and I remember this was a kind of a journey trip for me, right? I left and I was like, dude, what are you going to do? I got another job lined up at the time. And I was in Bali. It was like midnight and we're just sitting on this beach listening to music. And I go in the water and it's phytoplankton season.
Oh, yeah.
So, dude, I literally feel like I'm an avatar, right? Yeah. And I'm like kicking around. I'm by myself. All of my friends are behind me. And I'm like, and I like look up to the stars. And then like I said, I don't know, the universe or God or whoever it may be was like, kind of explicitly was like, Liam, stop being a bitch like straight up, like in my head, I was like, whoa, like, and I remember being like, kind of like super vibey, and I was like, whoa, that was kind of stark, you know, like that was kind of like not
hear
pleasant.
It audibly? Because of a buddy of mine, Patrick, who's actually been on the podcast, he said if he ever writes another book, he wanted to write a book called something like The Voice, because he's talked to so many people who have heard something audibly, like a voice kind of come out of nowhere and tell them something. Yeah. And it really shakes them to their core.
It was probably the most profound experience I've ever actually had in my life, to be honest. Yeah. And it was like, it was just a beautiful moment, to be honest. And I remember that like vividly, and to this day, like I kind of credit it. And then I was reading like the Steve Jobs autobiography, and he credits like LSD and like crazy stuff too, which is cool. Like find your journey. But like I was then on a flight in South Africa for sunrise during that same trip. Uh-huh. And so that idea, I was like, all right, well, what am I being a bitch about? And it was starting this business, and I was in South Africa. It was a sunrise over like the fucking Serengeti, bro. Yeah. You know, and I was like, this is insane. And I'm like 25 at the time. And I look out, and I still have the note in my Apple Notes, and it was like, Liam, you don't need to be the next Apple. You just need to be the next successful entrepreneur.
You've actually had to do the things that you needed to do to get where you are, which I think is really respectable. And I think once you get to that level, at least like in my experience, it's like once you like claw and scrape your way into it, it's like, well, there's no real going back, because now this is my baseline, and I have the confidence because I know I've built my way up here. For sure.
And I honestly credit that a lot to my mom. She came from the Philippines by herself to the United States when she was 25 or 24. And it's just crazy, bro. Like, I think the immigrant mindset in America, like you being able to start the American dream is real. And like, so I'm prideful of the country, regardless of what it may be politically. Yeah. But like, it's so beautiful. And my grandpa came from Sweden, by himself when he was 18 to this country. Right. So it's like, I don't know. I just like, it's just really cool, like to have that immigrant story and instilled in my blood and have that chip on your shoulder. Cause a lot of the most successful entrepreneurs are first gen Americans or like brand new to the country. And, you need that. And I think you said a really good point that I should structure my brain a little better next time, is like, it is like now my shield. And I've told Grant this too. It's like, dude, I could be in a meeting now with literally anyone, like business wise, I don't care what it is. And like, I feel like I belong there, kind of thing. Yeah. So who we're here for, why we wake up every day and do what we do. It sounds kind of weird, but like every guy, right? Yeah. Like every guy, like a bottle of fragrance is ubiquitous. Like it is everywhere. Everyone knows what it is, and everyone might actually have it already, right? Yeah. But no one knows what's in it. No one knows who makes it. No one knows why it's expensive. No one knows how to wear it. And no one has no one relates with any of these brands that they have, right? Yeah. And so for Guy Fawkes, we want to make it very approachable, very relatable. So when you think of fragrance, the first name you think of is Guy Fawkes, right? Whether that be in a candle form for your home, a cologne for your body, or your car scent for your car, right? Like, we like to get into a guy's life.
There's a perception in the fragrance world.
Price quality.
Yeah, it's price quality. And I've seen your videos on that, and it's so true. Like, I know, like, there's one, like, shout out to like Latafa. They have one, it's like a $30 fragrance, and
Is it great?
Yeah, it's great.
That's
it's
awesome.
Super sweet, and it lasts super long, and it like smells super high end. It's like $30.
Great.
And there's other fragrances like that. Like, and so for you, like, if you're like one of like something like this, this, I have a good idea what this would cost of like a designer or like a niche cologne. Like, what does it cost from Guy Fawkes?
Yeah, so it's $78, and
so it's like half the price of what you're gonna pay.
Correct. Yeah, like and we're all extra.
For a designer, if it's niche, I mean, it's like a third or less.
Yeah. For us, what we wanted to do and our unique differentiations and value props that we say are, we're double concentrated. So in the world of fragrances, you're gonna hear eau de toilette, eau de cologne, eau de parfum, extrait de parfum. Shout out my French people, because I'm not pronouncing that perfectly. But like, fuck that kind of thing. Like, we're like, well, no one knows what those words mean. What they actually mean is just simply the level of concentration of fragrance oil to alcohol. That's it. So like, how strong is the fragrance, right? So like eau de toilette, super, super weak, right? Like 5 to 10% or whatever.
The EDP always costs more.
Correct. Right? So the EDP is around 20% oil. So EDP is eau de parfum that we're talking about. All of Guy Fawkes are at 30% or an up. So we're all extras. So we're
So you're the highest quality, basically, that you can buy already standard.
For sure. That you could actually put on your skin, right? Because if you go any higher, there's actually rules and legalities where like it could actually be harmful if you go higher, you know? Yeah. So we're in a really good Goldilocks zone.
Also, you want it to wash off eventually, you know?
For sure. And like our scent profiles aren't like super intense, you know, and like they're very approachable scent profiles, but we say we're double concentrated. So like it's just easy for a guy to understand that.
So it sounds like you've made like a really quality product that costs a lot less and that is like an easy, like kind of like, it's like an easy reach. It's like, I can put this on, I know I'm going to smell good. It's going to give me a boost of confidence and I don't have to worry about it like offending people.
There you go.
Because I know like I've got like
Put that in an ad, please.
Put that in an ad. Put that in the ad.
That was spot on.
You can hire me. So you get an idea and you have kind of an idea of the scent profile. What's the process of like working with the perfumers and kind of like actually putting together all the different ingredients and notes to achieve your vision? Because when you told me what this was inspired by, I was like, oh yeah, I smell that immediately. Like it's on point. And it smells just like that. It's woodsy, it's fresh, it's like a hike in the mountains, right? But clean. And like you would want to smell like that. And I could see like it's very versatile, but like on a crisp day, that would really hit.
Sure.
Right? So like how do you achieve that and get that scent profile once you have the idea? Like what's that process like?
For sure. And yeah, I think if my first question I get asked the most is, oh, are you a perfumer or are you a chemist? And then the second question I get is, how do you do it? And that's such a valid question, of course. How do you do it? So when I first started, I would get off work in downtown San Francisco and I'd get off the bus and I'd go to Sephora and I would get all the free Sephora samples. Shout out Sephora. I'd get them and I would only get like 3 at a time or whatever. So I'm not like that guy. Let's just say
you're
5.
not sample abusing.
I was definitely sample abusing, but I would have to go.
3 is considerable.
I would switch it up. So I wouldn't go on the same day of the week. And I would probably take 2 weeks to test all of them appropriately, but I didn't know shit about fragrances at all. So like all I knew was like, I know what I like, which is cool. I guess that's pretty, I liked my intuition on what I just enjoyed. So I just made products that I liked. So I'd go to Sephora for inspiration and I'd be like, okay, like, what do I like about Gucci Guilty? Or what do I like about Versace Eros? Or what do I like about these mass produced fragrances? And I'd write like rudimentary notes that were like fresh, woody, you know, like I didn't even know what a scent wheel was, you know. If you're listening to like a scent wheel, like it tells you all these different types of fragrance, like it's literally a circle and you could hit different elements. Anyway, I didn't know anything about that. I was just going on vibes. So when I first came out with the company, when we started with 6 fragrances named after my 6 best friends, all of those were complete crapshoots, like not inspired by a story, not inspired by like a where I just said with Palmer, the exact opposite of that. And it was just like, I like these fragrances. Like, let's figure out the story. I didn't even know that we needed a story, you know, to be honest, right? Like, because you're only thinking about product. Anyway, as we, and I worked with perfumers and I was like, hey.
But that was your story, right? Was like, I'm going to make something inspired by the people I love. I'm going to name it after the people I love. And it's going to be for people who want to smell great and don't like want to go through the hassle of going to a department store. For
sure. Absolutely. I think the value and the inspo was like, what would guys just like straight up? Yeah. And now we're such a mature company where, and I'm grateful of this, is like now we have to tell stories in a good way and we're prideful of doing it. And now we have like for Palmer, like we had a gap in our green fragrances. So like think of your woods, think of like literally you in the mountains. We don't have that many. We don't have scent profiles like that. So like now we build for gaps and we build for things that we like. And we're testing fragrances right now for that new scent called Fairway, as you just described. And I told Kevin and Grant this the other day. It's like every scent we've ever come out with, I've liked it immediately. Like you can't convince me to like something. And I find myself, oh, is this good enough? Is this B+ good enough? No, it's not. It's not good enough. And now we're like really cutthroat on what we like and what we don't like.
Why did you name the company Guy Fawkes?
Yeah, so the original company name before we went live was called Eriksson Pierce. That's my last name and my co-founder Grant's last name. Super hard to spell. So our friends were like, yo, that sounds like a law firm. You guys should probably come up with something else. Yeah. I was like, that's some good feedback. We had like a logo and everything. It looked pretty sick, actually. I went on that trip around the world, like I said, and I learned who this guy named Guy Fawkes was. It's spelled...
So Guy Fawkes is a real person.
Real guy, but he spells it Fawkes. Do you know those anonymous masks, like the hackers?
Yes.
That's Guy Fawkes. That's actually Guy Fawkes. Have you seen V for Vendetta?
Yes, I have.
That's Guy Fawkes.
Oh,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, yeah.
So I learned all about him. I was like, this story is tragic and crazy. I'm not gonna say the full story, but like,
watch V for Vendetta.
yeah, it's cool, story. But like, it's a face of revolution. I like the name, and like his cause is kind of cool. But he's also,
and it's what you're doing in the industry, right? Or
correct. Yeah. You could, if like my publicist will be like, we could totally work with this. So like when
I said it, you didn't.
Yeah, when I went back home after traveling, I was at work, and Grant was at work, and we would be on like Facebook Messenger, and he'd be hitting me with names. I'm like, all right, if we're changing the name, like hit me with the names. Send me all these names. I like things that are easy to spell. The Instagram and website
what were
available.
Some of the names you turned down?
So one of the ones that we really liked were Fox and Fog. And keep in mind, I didn't know anything about foxes at the time. There's not even foxes where I'm from, for the most part. I was like, oh, that's sick. Like Fox and Fog, because I was in SF, so like an homage to San Francisco. F and F, super easy to spell. The .com was available, and I was like, oh, like Guy, and I thought about Guy Fawkes, and I was like, oh, you could say like this Guy Fawkes, and I was like, wait, Guy Fawkes, and I spelled it F-A-W-K. We have a screenshot of this whole confirmation. Yeah. And dude, honestly, right when I said that, I go in like Squarespace, type in the .com, I type in the Instagram, both available. I was like, buy, done, you know? And I was like, that's it. And I think we have those moments at Guy Fawkes are not even just the name, but like even scents, Kevin, of like when we get it and we have the name of the scent, the three main notes we shout out, the type of scent, we're always like, that's it.
Because I know being an entrepreneur, there's days where like you don't really feel like being on the pod or like shooting that video or making that call or talking to that lawyer, whatever it may be. Like what keeps you inspired and fired up?
Yeah, I think I'd say gratitude, to be completely honest. Like I said, my mom coming here when she was 25, 24, and my grandpa coming here when he was 19, 18, like I'm kind of just doing it for them, to be honest. And like I didn't realize that until I got older. I was like, damn, what a unique opportunity and hunger that they've instilled in me, where I'm so grateful of. And like Russell Westbrook says that, like his quote, NBA player, is why not? You know, it's why not, dude? Like, why not live life just so supremely epically that like you wake up every morning fired up to do what you do? And I'm grateful that my team is fucking amazing. Yeah. And I live in San Diego, California. My house is awesome. You know, like I love my friends, my family's healthy. Like, why not? You know, and dude, like I get fired up about that. And I know that sounds maybe lame, but like,
I don't think it sounds lame,
I'm like, I'm true. Yeah. I'm like, great. Like, well, it's cool that I get to do whatever I want to do every single day and not take advantage of my freedom and really build and have that. I guess the theme today is compound interest, but like is to really compound that and develop really good habits and really good goals and live, dude.
Compound effect.
Actually, I'd like to share this on the pod. One of my good friends here in San Diego, his name's Kyle Ford. He recently passed away last week. I was with him, or 2 weeks ago. I was with him 2 days before he passed, and he passed abruptly and on a Monday, you know, and I was like, when I found the news out, I was like, no. I was like, what? I was just with Kyle, right? And it was a profound moment for me, to be honest, and that's so recent that I was like, and I already thought about life like that, the kind of what I just described, but like his passing was such a nice, not nice obviously, but like it felt great for me to be reminded, and so grateful that I know Kyle's actually a huge Guy Fawkes fan. Like a lot of the photos with Kyle that we uploaded to his album was like with him wearing Guy Fawkes stuff, and he would never be like, yo, I bought your shirt. Like he would just show up like wearing an article or like wearing the new scent. I'm like, dude, like I'll give it to you for free, you know? Like, and he's like, no, I want to support you. Like,
that's the thing is the best friends are the ones who like, they don't want the discount. Like my buddy Mike talks about this, is like your friends, your real friends are the ones who want to support your business.
Sure.
They're not like, oh, let me get free shit or let me get a discount.
No, and I always appreciated that.
Sorry for your loss too, man. He sounds like an awesome guy.
No, I appreciate that, man. He's absolutely a legend forever. But I like to share Kyle's story of like his passing to our entire friend group has been like obviously tragic and super fucking sad and like really hard for me to even understand, like grief and like sadness and loss. But like it has fired me up even more, where I didn't even know I could have that level. And so shout out Kyle's family, and obviously a legend forever, my man.
Sorry for your loss.
Appreciate that.
Well, dude, thank you so much for coming. If you are into fragrances, or if you're not into fragrances, definitely check out Guy Fawkes. Like, I sprayed some of this on here. Hefe, it smells good. If you're thinking about Guy Fawkes, if you're looking, dude, and you want like a quick, you can't like sample it online. Like, what should people get, or should they get the sample kit? Like, how do you get a sample kit? Like, put the people on with games.
It's so funny that we didn't even talk about the starter kit. The starter kit's the whole reason why we came up with the company. Is like, you got to try all of our 7 best sellers, and then you get a code to redeem for your full size bottle later. So you got to try all those, and then you get your full size bottle later.
Fire.
Instead of like blindly buying Palmer. Like, yes, you could totally blind buy Palmer. I'm confident that you'll like it, but like, get the starter kit, get our samples first, and it comes with the code. Get it later. Always start with that at Guy Fawkes.
Yeah.
It's just the best. I don't want to tell you what you'd like. Just you try it, and then you buy it later.
But that's so dope, because it's like, you get the starter kit, you find out from all the fragrances what you like, and you've already paid for it, so then you get the full bottle.
Dude, exactly.
And then you got the other one, so you know what your next one is.
Exactly. So people literally write reviews and be like, oh, I want this one, and this one. And I'm so glad I got to try all of them. I'm like, why would I pigeonhole you to get our bestseller? Like, just try all of them.